Well, he's making his private problem a public one.
Yeah.
Again, it's not like I don't understand. I completely understand where he's coming from. He's just being an annoying ass about it right now. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Lessons, and we are back with some more The 8th MS Team. Sorry, I was just in another discussion in another Discord a moment ago about Running Man versus The Running Man. It's like, it's called The Running Man. You didn't find it in an alphabetical list because you didn't look for the. I don't know. Tangential, right off the bat, but are you the kind of person who would write The Running Man or Running Man, comma, the in a list, if you're putting it in a list?
I think it would be the latter because the is such a common, it's literally a common article. So you would have like, if you're you're doing listicle, you do a very long list. You have the, right? So
right, but if it's the name, right, it would. If you were looking for The Running Man, are you going to assume that the list maker is going to do the comma the thing, or are you going to go down to the thes?
Not.
Yeah.
In fact, the way you and this is old HTML etiquette. I don't use it anymore. You're supposed to do it like that. Running Man, the Andromeda, the Andromeda strain, the, right? And then when you go to the page, if I were to click, I would have to put the Andromeda strain or the Running Man, because that would be the actual title as presented. So, you do it one way so that there's distinct, and also people don't, such a common article, people sort of miss it. Like, oh, Running Man, they go the Running Man, right? Even though that's the accurate title, and so people will miss it, like your friend did, your person did. I don't know.
Well, I guess giving props to them because we're doing collabs with them. Our Knights, they're putting together a pre-1989 sci-fi movie list, movies that they've seen and movies that people are recommending, so that when summer comes around, because he's a teacher, when he got the free time, he can react to those movies. And I was adding, because I had gone through their Patreon and like all the recommendations. I had previously already made a list for them, but he's making his own list, so I just went and re-added all those. And somebody was just commenting today, hey, you've got Running Man and you've also got The Running Man. I'm pretty sure it's the same movie, which is why I said it's The Running Man's the movie. That is on a Google Sheet. And if you put a Google Sheet into alphabetical order, you could miss The Running Man for Running Man, because I guess it's not too far from itself, but there's a lot of movies that could be in the middle. I would put The Running Man. The only reason I even brought up Running Man, comma, the, is because I know some people do that too.
If you're gonna do links, then I think that would be Running Man, the would be the comma, the Oxford comma. Yes, the Oxford comma.
I just know that I would look for The Running Man, so I would go down to a long the area, so I would be thrown off by the comma.
It looks kind of messy if you do it that way.
I mean, I understand the idea, but I'm looking for the thing I'm looking for, right? I wouldn't be looking for Andromeda strain. I would be looking for the Andromeda strain. Anyway, like I said, off topic right from the start, which is, again, alternative title for the channel.
Yeah.
We do have a comment, first off. Mr. Pika Gamer, I don't know what the hell. Mr. Pika Gamer from The Glory of Solomon, obviously, Mobile Suit Gundam. The explanation for Char wearing a mask was solely to hide his identity. He himself came up with a bunch of rumors as to why he had to wear it and steadily spread them around. The most famous of which being his face and hands were heavily burned. The second most being he had a helmet's visor broke and the glass cut up his face. This was so incredibly stupid that The Origin came up with an excuse that makes sense. The White Base and Joaquin's forces are a distraction fleet attacking Solomon from a different side as the TNM and his fleet, who have significantly more forces. This episode also accidentally points out something I was saying earlier. Kai, despite his self-described cowardly nature, was a complete badass the moment he got into his gun cannon. Dude was practically the Red Baron of the White Base. The ball is mainly used for construction, but they were specifically designed for combat. The one in 8th MS team, see, they don't even know we're here yet, but they're already pointing shit out. The one in 8th MS team was not designed for combat outside of emergency situations. These ones are faster than the vast majority of Zeon's mobile suits, have the same cannon as the gun tank, but only one, and despite being nicknamed Flying Coffins, somehow had better attrition rates than the general model. What Shiro did is impressive, but it's only because the ball he was had terrible weapons, and he was going against a prototype high mobility Zaku. Back to Char and Scars. In Tamano's alternate universe novels, Char gave himself a large scar between his eyes to make himself harder to recognize before joining the Earth Federation. Sorry, it's full capitals. Back in, I guess, what you could call origin time frame.
So essentially, Zeon forces are in that alternative. Zeon forces are defectors from the Earth Federation.
There was a past comment, I think, from also Mr. Piku Gamer, that I didn't read because for some reason I thought it was a spoiler or something. But he also mentions a Tamano novel where apparently Amuro gets killed by a Dom.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Did I? I thought I didn't read it.
Yeah.
Maybe you read it. Maybe you read it and just thought that I said it because I don't recall. I recall reading it.
It got mentioned, or I read it.
That's what I'm saying. I think you might have just read it because I think I avoided bringing it up. Yeah. But now with the idea that it's an alternative universe, the book that Amuro just gets killed by a Dom, because I think they were talking about us making fun of the Doms or pointing out how they've been relatively useless. Like they're pushed as a heavy improvement to the Zaku, but I mean the Zaku is getting more screen time of actually accomplishing stuff, whereas the only Doms that we've seen have died to the Gundam.
The Tristarts and some others, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean the Tristarts died to the Gundam. I mean, you could point out that the Tristarts essentially killed. It's an M name.
Poorly armed, poorly armed transport aircraft. Yeah,
I can't remember her name for some reason. Everyone had a crush on her. She has glowing orange hair.
Red. Yeah, I know who you're talking.
Had
Matilda.
A husband. Yeah, I would say had a fiance back in Jaburo. Yeah, Matilda. Well, the problem is we got so many Macross M names that are in my head that I just can't think of them. Could have brought up the board, didn't. Anyway, yeah, they killed Matilda. That's it, really. There was a bunch of cowards that were going to get Lala killed. Yeah. Remember, because they were also in Doms, and they were like, I don't need to go to the front. She got everything handled. Despite Char giving us very specific orders to keep her covered. Anyway, anything else about the comment? Flying coffins, Char scars, etc.
Interesting concepts. They very much seem like prototype concepts, right? Like these are ideas that come up and they get discarded. Like, oh no, we don't want to animate him with an extra scar or something when he takes off his mask. Whatever, we'll just go with this. And then it's like, I can write this scar back again. Okay, cool. I'm going to do that, right?
Well, I don't know if the novel universe is the universe that the movie was going to be based on. You know, where Amuro and Char with an S know each other early on.
Yeah. Also, it kind of reminds me of have you ever read Splinter in the Mind's Eye?
That's not Lensman. That's
Star Wars.
Oh no, sorry. Oh, that's one of Han's adventures.
No, it was okay. Splinter in the Mind's Eye. When Star Wars came
Oh
out,
no,
Lucas
sorry, yeah,
wasn't
no,
sure.
we've had this discussion before. That
Yeah,
is the book that comes out before the first Star Wars book, back when it was
the second one.
is it
The
the second
second
one?
movie, actually. Yeah, because Star
I
Wars comes out, it's a hit, but Lucas wasn't sure he was going to get a sequel, so he writes, "It's like, well, in case I don't get a sequel, I'm going to write the ending
Yeah,
to my
I
story."
told you before about the it's not something canon book club that is Jesse
Mhm.
Cox and all of them, where they
Yeah.
discuss,
Mm.
well, they used to discuss the new canon, which is all the
Mhm.
books that came out after the movies and everything, and then they went back to original canon book
Mhm.
club. So that's where we had previously discussed it. What I was thinking of was like the harp one, which is old canon, one of the Han Solo adventures. I
The
think
courtship of Princess Leia. Tell me about
no,
that
no,
one.
no. This is very specifically some like solo adventure that he is ironic.
There's
I'm
three
talking.
of them. I read all of them, and also read the Lando Calrissian ones, which are I think also three as well.
Well, I'm just gonna look it
Han
up real quick
Solo at
because
World's End, I think it is one of them. And yeah, there were a couple of them. Yeah,
what is it called? No, sorry. I remember very little, but I remember thinking about it a lot for some reason. Oh, god damn it! The fact they sell it in a trilogy and they don't list the name of the books in the trilogy. God, what's the name? It involves a harp. It's on an alien world where like the aliens are being like not repressed, but like they're not at their full ability and they need to be woken up by a fucking harp or something.
at Stars Inn, and that's the one that I really remember. But there were
Unfortunately, they
three other.
apparently put it into like a single book where they put all the books together and it's like the Han Solo Adventures. And it's like, no, what's the name of the individual book? It's like Lyrian Harp or something like that.
There's a third volume, the Star Wars Han Solo Adventures, which is Han Solo's Revenge. And I don't know which
It's
was the
like
third.
it's an alien planet where it's just like normal backwater aliens, but Han Solo stumbles upon, it might not be Han Solo. It might be what's his name?
Lando Calrissian.
It might be a Lando Calrissian adventure. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, it's like
I don't think it.
it's
Yeah,
like
because that wasn't ringing a
backwater.
bell.
Yeah, it's
That
backwater
wasn't.
aliens and whatnot, but they stumbles upon like a fucking alien harp thing, and the
Mhm.
planet wakes up, and they're like super advanced, and like they kick him off the planet, and they go all isolationist. Oh wait, is this it? God damn it! No, that doesn't have a name. They did the same thing though. It's the Lando Calrissian Adventures. Yep, there he is. Lando Calrissian and the Mind Harp of Sharu. That's what I was thinking of.
I
Yep, I
probably
got my
that actually.
smugglers mixed up. That was all.
Yeah, I think I read two of the Lando Calrissian books. I read all three of Han Solo's, three or four of them, and
I didn't read any of these. I was not a big reader of Star Wars. The only two books that I read involved the Siruvi because they're my favorite alien race. So it's Truce at Bakura, which is the first thing canonically to happen after the movies in the books.
literally days after the end,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
split.
and then what it's I can't remember. The second one just takes place during like the Dark Force saga or whatever the hell it's called. It's literally the Saruvi comeback. It's all it is. I am a big fan of entrenchment. Or sorry, entekment.
I always read it as entrenchment, so you're not the first one to make the
Well,
mistake.
it's easy to think because that's an actual word, whereas entekment is literally a made up word. So anyway, I don't remember how we got here. Had something to do with the comment.
Yeah, Kamino's AU novels.
Right. Like I said, I don't know if they're based on the same thing that the movie was going to be based on. Where Amuro was already a member of the military, and so was Shar, and they go flying in wingsuits together.
How cute.
All right. Anyway, that is the comment. We of course also have a board, and I will say that I think I might delete a good portion of the board. Well, only for
Why is
8th
that?
MS team.
No.
Well, unlike with, say, Mobile Suit Gundam, where I have a bunch of characters, you're like, I didn't know even that guy had a name. 8th MS team, I am just adding a bunch of characters who don't have names. Like, I have just gone through and added a bunch of people that are just like faces in a crowd. And it's like, the only reason I keep doing it is that I did it previously. And it's like, well, do I stop now? Because at some point, either I keep doing this or I just delete a bunch of nameless people from the past. Mainly the board changelog here is that I added Maria and I connected her to the 8th MS team into Kiki. Obviously, I've failed to mention that I put a purple line between Elidor and Karen, because that seems to be a thing. I added a specific green line between Nickard and Maria, so that I could add a pink arrow coming from Nickard to Maria, because he's attracted. Added a white line between Maria and Norris, because they encounter each other. And then otherwise, red line between armored car guy and Elidor, who gets shot by him a bunch. And red line between Elidor and door guardsman, who gets his teeth knocked out by him. Oh, yeah, and red line between guy on truck with gun and mother with feverish child.
I think those were the same guys that were in the armored vehicle later on.
Nope, different guys. Different guys because, I guess, one, they don't look the same, but also two, meta knowledge that behind the voice actors lists them as two different characters, with two different voice actors. So they're not even meant to have the same voice.
Well, then my mistake then. We shall have to correct in the notes because I thought that that's what happened.
Well, speaking of notes, unless you have anything to say about the board.
Not really.
Well, speaking of notes then, as we mentioned before we started recording, last time you didn't have notes about episode 4, which means you're coming into this with notes about episode 4 and 5. I had notes about 4 last time, so I've only got notes about episode 5. Typically, whoever has more goes first. In this case, I think you have 19, and I've come with 3. So,
yeah. It's going to be a thing. Anyway, let me begin. Let us begin. Episode 4, the demon overhead. The demon. That's a weird title, right? I know it's supposed to be overhead. But it's just the way I read it was like, what?
No, I mean, it makes sense. The demon overhead. Literally, you're on a ground force unit. And in that episode, it is literally flying past overhead, so...
This is for Aina. Yes, your brother dreams to ostensibly... is to build... Man, I forgot to build. What the hell? An ostensibly powerful but extremely expensive and resource-intensive machine right when your nation's resources are waning rapidly. I'm sure that will turn everything around for Sion.
I specifically... I had a note that relates to this. Like, this would be a back-to-back note section if I had my notes still. Explicitly, I was pointing out that it doesn't coincide with Amuro Desserts. That happens later in the timeline. So, McQueeve and Caecilia's order to increase resources to prototyping hasn't happened yet. So this is a pre-existing prototype project. So this isn't a drain on the Xeon resources, as we haven't even well, we're about to. We're literally, as I mentioned actually last time again, the European, what was it called? I don't want to bring up my other notes. The European
Operation.
No, it's not an operation. It's literally annoyance. I can't remember the word that they use. It's the annoyance campaign. That the thing that they do before Odessa, essentially push them back. We're going to annoy the fuck out of them. That is currently ongoing. So they are losing resources. I'm not arguing that point. It's just in the realm of prototype projects, we're still full bore on it. And this is a pre-existing one before we even went full bore. So he is in the sweet spot of prototypes, Which is to say, even the what was the very first mobile armor we ever encountered? Starts with an A. It's McQueeves.
Yeah. And got abandoned on Earth, I think. Is
No,
that the one that
they
had
actually they escape the combat in it, so they leave with it. I mean, you could argue we never see it again, so who the fuck knows what happened to it?
It had the electromagnetic web thing, that trap web.
It doesn't look too different from this one.
Yeah.
I mean, it is different in that it's got a doesn't have a cockpit.
It has legs. It has legs.
Yeah, and it has like a control deck. It doesn't have a cockpit. So because McQueeve and Cassilia are both in it. Also, it's like 100% more effective so far. It almost took out the Gundam. Whatever it is, it's on par with that. It's a pre-existing prototype project, so I would argue that he's not wasting Zeon's resources, and to be fair, they don't have any concept of what's happening. It feels like they're an isolated outpost.
Although Jian, he mentions that it would allow them to retake, space. So maybe they lost some space already. So it's still contested.
Again, it's the we're already in the European Annoyance campaign. I can't remember what it's called. The European Annoyance campaign for right now. Yeah. So they are getting pushed back.
Genius Sahalan. Yeah.
No, I thought you meant Yuri for a second. As per our previous conversation about being confused about Yuri and Norris that one time. No, not Yuri and Norris. Masai?
No, Yuri and Norris.
Masato. Yeah, Nora. No, we had a previous conversation about you, or I was confused who we were talking about, and you had a comment about being confused Norris and Masato. Because I remember specifically
we talking to Norris.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm talking about. You had talked about the pilot. And I thought we were talking about Yuri during that conversation. I was like, that's not even there.
Yeah.
That's why I just remember you were talking about Masato, because you're talking about the pilot.
So to your next note then? Or should I continue?
My first note. I'm going to go ahead and burn through mine while you're talking about a previous episode, because we've never really cared. Although you care mostly because you keep yours in order by episodes. I've never cared about that. Not much of a note, but our 8th MS Team episodes currently take place in a narrative dead zone for the other shows we've watched. This one actually does matter towards episode 5, because I've said what was happening during episode 4 before. Mobile Suit Gundam's last episode was 22, and took place on October 20th. MS Igloo, episode 3, had a flashback to yesterday, again, yesterday from episode 5's perspective. But otherwise fast forwards to November. Essentially, in these couple of days that 8th MS Team is looking at, nothing of significance happened in any of the other shows we've watched.
So far.
Oh, that's what I said. That we've watched. I don't have any idea if anything of significance is going to happen. Currently we're on October 25th, I'm going to say. Everything else basically goes from like October 20th to early November, like November 5th. We're in a blank spot in the rest of the world's history.
Yeah,
you're gesturing at me. That was my note. I can't ramble more.
Yeah, so let me go back to my notes then. About that, because the first note was about when she's piloting the Aspilus. And my second note follows with that. It's like, granted, the animation was gorgeous. Some of the best hand-drawn animation for TV at this time. Like, plowing through the sky, and the effect on the clouds, like the clouds were like water, right? So they go up, and I mean, that was
time. 1995?
Yeah.
I don't know. 1995. I would say there's been some pretty great animation in 1990s. Maybe for Gundam, this is damn good.
There you go. Yeah, and that's a TV. I didn't mean OVAs or movies or stuff like that.
I don't know. I was literally just watching somebody react to all of Gundam Wing's openings earlier, and it struck me, this whole thing that I think I've either heard before or took part in discussion of, the oddity of how Mobile Suit Gundam Wing looks like it's a step backwards in animation quality to other Gundam stuff that came out before it.
Well, the intros are pretty solid. the regular animation is a little.
Well, I'm talking about in general. In general, Gundam Wing looks like it was animated like 2 show releases back. Like maybe it got held back or something, but in general, it looks like a backward step. So I'm just comparing it to this conversation we're having about 1995, 8th MS Team. Like, I can't even think about any specific anime coming to my head right now. I mean, I would say Nadia, Secret of Blue Water, jumps into my head as a comparison to make to the animation style of 8th MS Team, of maybe even just equivalency. Like the character designs of Nadia versus the character designs here. Kiki versus Nadia.
But then again, that's Ghibli as well, so that's already
Ghibli
or Ghibli.
No, Nadia, Secret of Blue Water is the group that goes on to make Evangelion.
Oh, those guys. Yeah.
Gainax. I couldn't remember that. Yeah. Well, I mean,
also has some...
for the majority of it anyway, until they outsourced the whole Middle Island arc to a South Korean studio. Again, not a joke, just something that we talked about previously in another show reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right, my next one then. So, in defense of what I said, the Xeon officer did. So I don't know why I emphasized the word said. I did it in my writing, so I tried to read it. Anyway, in defense of what I said, the Xeon soldier did in episode 5. It looks like he did not just gun down a mother and child in the street like I initially thought and then told you that's what happened. They fire a spray of warning shots, which is why the woman cries out in despair and not bloody murder like she's being killed. It's also why Aina asks if there is anything that they could do for these people, rather than be horrified at 2 innocents being gunned down in front of her.
Well, I had them being gunned down in my notes, so I guess that's another mistake I made.
Well, that again, your mistake is because I told you that's what was happening, and you thought I was right. And when I'm rewatching it, because again, I thought that was happening, I thought I was going to take a note about why is Aina suddenly so fucking heartless, and it's just like, you can see they must fire like in front, but since we're looking distantly and from a very specific angle, the woman just stays standing there and crying out. And then we pull back to Aina and we can still hear her crying out. She's not being killed. She's like, please let me go. Still. And Aina is very much a character that we're supposed to be rooting for, kind of. So having her being like, why can't we help these people? They're getting killed. Please help me. They're killing me. I guess I'm just going to walk off from this. Doesn't make any sense. So quite clearly, they are just being like, no, we told you to go back to your house. Warning shots.
Well, yes, Terry should have kept his cool. Those guys on the 7th were cruising for a bruising. And after opening their big mouths, they ganged up on Terry to boot. Fuck those guys.
I mean, fuck them for what they said. I don't have a problem with anything else that they've done. Like, again, Terry goes out of his way to pick a physical fight over words. Now, granted, they are emotionally filled words. Like, my friends are dead. How dare you? But at the same time, he starts the fight. And if your friend is getting into a fight with another dude, I don't think you have any responsibility to like make it a fair fight. Fuck that guy. I was making fun of him and he tried to kick my ass. I got 2 friends with me. Who says a fight needs to be fair?
Oh, Bully certainly doesn't.
Well, again, he's the one who picked the fight.
Yeah, but he was like, it's like, of course I'm gonna mouth this guy. I have backup. He's alone. He's not gonna do anything. Oh shit, he's beating me up. Guys, help me. Ooh, you know.
I mean, like, to be fair, he had one guy with him who ran away immediately.
Yeah.
So it's not like he didn't have anybody. Also, I don't know where anybody else is conceivably, because he had to bike like 5 minutes to get the commander. I don't know where Karen is. I don't even know if Elidor would even help. Like, but again, I don't blame them for like holding his arms.
Karen was looking over from atop one of the Gundams. She was like,
I think that was after the fact. I think that was after the fact. We don't know if she was there during.
Yeah, the beginning. Yeah,
I don't think Karen's the kind of person who would just like let it go. She would have kicked ass, and then she would have kicked Carrie's ass afterwards for having caused the situation. But again, like I said, I don't fuck the 7th team for what they said. I like them more that they jumped in to help their friend that was in a fight.
We ride or die, yeah.
Yeah, they're a team. They're a team. The most of the 8th MS team is about them finding their team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Next note then, from you.
Well, my last note. It made no sense for the Zeon, again, episode 5. It made no sense for the Zeon soldier to step in and try and stop their fight being Elidor and Mikkel. He had already indicated that they were likely up for the firing squad in the morning. Worst case scenario is that they kill each other, in which case you save some bullets. The only reason I can think that he stepped in was that they were destroying the room. And this guy has been a nice guy to the owners so far. So out of concern for the inn, he tried to stop them from breaking crap.
That, and even if you're going to get an execution, superiors can be pretty, fucking like, well, you can't go like, oh, keep an eye on these guys so until tomorrow, see what we do with them. And then his boss shows up, like, what happened? Yeah, they killed each other. And you're like, you fucking idiot! You were supposed to keep them alive until we execute them.
I think
it sounds stupid, but that's how it works.
I think my initial idea, because again, you know how I talk sometimes, which is just jump from one thing to another, is that why wouldn't he just like point the gun in through the window, like fire a warning shot? And it's like, maybe again, I thought back to when Maria shows up, and he's like, oh, okay, go ahead, give him food, and he's like. He's not hitting on Kika. He's literally asking, are you hungry too? And she's like, no, don't talk to her. Well, obviously, because she's a gorilla, you don't want to, like, expose that. But he wasn't being, like, weird, creepy dude. He was just like, hey,
no, he wasn't. He wasn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's just like, okay, he's clearly, he's clearly a nice guy. So I think that's why he also wouldn't have fired into the room. If he's like, fuck, they're breaking barrels. I got to get in there.
Yeah, but he's like, oh man, that's okay. Oh, they're quiet, and then the next morning, open the door. We're gonna get them to execute it. They're like dead on the floor. They're like,
well, because he also didn't care so much when they were like punching each other around. It's when he heard shit being broken.
Yeah.
By the way, since this is my last note and we're talking about this, I think he was reading a weird version of Time magazine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some Arctic expedition.
Well, no, because it says like TIAM something, like there's more letters, and I think it's just one of those weird misspellings on purpose, like all the landmarks back in Mobile Suit Gundam. I tried figuring out what it was about. Like, oh, is this like Zeon guys I should know or recognize, or like what is he reading? It's like also kind of weird that a Zeon guy who's probably from space is. I'm going to read all these landmarks on Earth. I'm interested. It's like, there's a lot to this guy, kind of.
He hasn't done anything better to do anyway, so probably he just grabbed him. It's a hotel. He probably grabbed one of those magazines in the wedding area. It's like, check it out, So that's what he had available. It's going to be a long time until morning, until, they're going to execute them or release them or something, or take them with them if they're going to do that, whatever they're going to do, right? So my next note. Amada pulled the nothing to see here, just some friendly banter maneuver, which again goes to show you that he's more grounded than you would expect for an amateur or a newbie, as they like to call him.
I don't know what scene you're referring to.
It's because I'm still talking about the fight, right? When he comes into the fight, he punches a guy like, "Oh, it's 3 versus 1. That's unfair," and he comes running in, a flying punch, punches one of the guys that's holding Terry. At that moment, Kojima shows up. He steps out of his Jeep and is like, what the hell's going on here? And he turns around and goes like, it's an exchange, between the 7th and the 8th. And it's like, and Kojima's like, right, and this heat? Idiot, you fucking idiots, I don't buy it, but I don't have time for this shit. 7th, you have to do this. 8th, you have to do that. And it's like, yes, sir. And they break up the fight, and
Well, I mean, it was very much was a how we were talking just moments ago about a team. We're a team.
Yeah.
Well, we're all Earth forces, right? We're not we're not fighting, sir. Which is a friendly banter. It's not so much a nothing to see here, just I'm not ratting out on my fellow men as much as I would not expect them to rat out on me. Then, to be fair, they didn't. They're not like, oh, he punched me first. It's like, no, sir, we're all just nothing here but Earth forces, sir.
Yeah. My next note then. And this is where I say Karen is standing on the shoulder of one of the Gundams. You screwed up when Karen gives you your stink eye because she's looking down, going like, "You asshole." Like he's looking down at Terry. But Terry looks up and she's like,
I mean, Karen is the Winry of 8th MS Team. I mean, if you replace dead husband with dead parents. I mean, literally, it actually does work out because her dead husband was a surgeon and Winry's dead parents were doctors, both in a war zone environment. It's just, I don't know. You're saying, like, you've screwed up when, and it's like, I don't know. She's very much, like, on everybody all the time. So, also, not for nothing, she expected Shiro to fail from the outset. Like, literally, the first conversation is, where's the other commander? Oh, he's in the loony bin because of fucking Karen. So,
yeah, but that was more of a rumor thing. Like, that's what happened.
No, I'm pretty sure that was a true fact because I think it was a conversation between Elidor and Karen. The idea that Elidor is saying you put him there. It's not a rumor if you're talking to the person you're accusing it of doing it.
Yeah. Next point. Haven't remarked on this yet, but I love the contrast between the aristocratic Zeon scientists and commanders and the little down-to-earth fetties who are working on their machines and even doing their own laundry. I mean, that's kind of a running theme across this entire episode, right? The Zeons are the ones who have this base, and they have, they have a dining hall, and people are all dressed up, and they've even put a balcony on the side of the mountain, because aristocrats need balconies, I guess. And yet these guys are cooking their own meals. They're repairing their own equipment. They're all dirty. They're, fighting the heat and all that. So I think it's a nice contrast between the two of them.
I don't know what it's called. I want to use the word propaganda, but that's not it. When you try to keep an appearance that's no longer true, like when old European aristocratic families that are no longer rich, they're putting on a facade. We're not losing. Look how opulent everything is. Yeah. We certainly couldn't keep this up if we were losing.
Yeah. And also I think it has to do with the fact that the Sahaling family is supposed to be the sort of nobility, part of the nobility of Zeon, right? That you have rich families, important families that when it became the principality, they sort of became nobility as well, sort of. Basically, they were rich people who just,
It's difficult because of the way we're watching this. Like, I don't know if they're mentioned, like, maybe in, like, again, Double Zeta, whatever it is, like, they're a family that's in the future or mentioned in the future past. The weird thing about time travel, right? In that something in the past that's in the future of the show could have mentioned them. But for us here, like, you know what we should explore when we're writing 8th MS Team? What about that Sahin family that we mentioned back in I'm like, oh yeah, we'd actually bring up who they were and what they were about. And it's like, oh cool. But for us, first appearance, right? So it's like, we've never heard anything about them before. This is actually the first, well, I guess you could probably consider the Rawls to be somewhat Zeon nobility, although disenfranchised Zeon nobility.
I mean, they got lost their position, but they were an important family.
Well, they were Munzo nobility, kind of, but then when the independence thing rolls around, even before then, because they get accused of killing Zeon. Yeah. So, it's just like there's really no other families. There's the Zabis, and I guess there's the Daikuns.
Daikun Zeon's family.
Yeah, but I mean, they're considered to be lost, like dead. So I don't think anyone considers them like.
I mean, no, because when Rambarao recognized, what's her name, Char's sister, the lady with many names, Sayla, is like he says Hime, which is princess. Oh, Artesia, princess, right? The fact that he would call her princess And it's not princess in the I remember you're a little girl and we call you princess. Like, no, this is like a title, right?
I don't
The
think
same
that's a
as
good pull though, because
yeah,
he knows. He was related
yeah,
to getting them out. So I'm
yeah.
talking about like anybody else.
Mhm.
What's the man on the street know?
I mean, they are treated. I mean, at least the Sabis are treated like he's literally called here Duke
Oh
Degwin.
yeah, no,
So
that wasn't part of. That's why I was saying the zombies are
yeah,
a noble house. If
yeah.
Xeon had them, it's just like anybody else though. This is the first time that we've been getting any contact with the concept that anybody else could be a noble
Yeah.
house. So like, we're the Sahin in the ruling structure. Do they have to talk to Giran? Does Degwin lend his ear to the Sahins?
I mean, GS, yeah, he claims that he got this commission directly from Duke Degwin, like when he's giving this speech. How true that is, we don't know. It could be just a claim, like, oh yes, the Duke told me to do this. Isn't it? People like say so, whatever. We're not gonna say no. We're following orders here, right? But the fact that he makes that claim, right, and then later on it's like, oh, maintaining the Sahalin family tradition and people alive and all that. That seems to be important, at least to them. Like when the admiral goes up, like, yeah, whatever, don't worry about that. You can be with a real man. And she's like, no, no, she's like very much like the lady, right? And
Again, it's a matter of I think I need more information to be able to think anything about it, because it's like, again, it's a first contact sort of thing. The idea that there are noble houses of Munzo.
my guess that these nobility, if you will, were the people that were rich already in Monzo and money, and two were supporters of Sion, right? They were part of that. The closer you were to Dacom, the when it became a principality, because it's the principality of Sion, not the principality of Degwin, right? Not the not the principality of Savi, right? The closer you were to Dacom, Dicom, the
Digwin.
more you were Degwin, no, not to Degwin, but to Dicom Sion, the founder of the principality in spirit and not in reality.
Again, though, that only works from the beginning. And if
Yeah,
I think your indication is more towards they're landed, like people that were close to Degwin after he got everything that he wanted from the revolution, the people that supported him. But in which case, why didn't McQueeve seem to have like noble title? Why didn't Romero have noble title?
maybe they didn't have rich enough families. It's a combination of both having political and economic power in order to be elevated, right?
McQueeve was like, I don't know. From the moment we meet
It was, but
McQueeve,
he was just someone who was he's someone who's highly educated, but we don't know if he has powerful connections other than the fact that he got handpicked by
they seem to have. I
uh,
mean, because the moment we
yeah.
first meet him, he's like in with like apparently a massive Xeon museum that they're giving him like a background tour and taking notes on everything he says about Earth culture stuff.
I
And
mean, he could have been just the only one representative, right?
well, I mean, like that's why I said Romero and everything too. Everybody else that was like on the high Admiralty Council, like none of them seem to be landed either. Like, why these people and not those people? Especially the
Yeah, I
ones who
guess
are
it's.
actively supporting you.
I think it's more than just. It has to be money as well, money and power, right? Money and support. It could
Could
be
be
retroactive.
people that owned or ran the other Banshee in Side 3.
Yeah, as well as members. I mean, the Psionic people who have connections to Psionic Corporation and stuff
Well, I
like
mean, like
that.
Degwin specifically runs Munzo, but
Yeah,
Munzo is one Banshee among Banshee.
yeah. So it could be. Yeah, they could have their own Banshee, right? We don't know the specifics though, but it's nice to speculate. Uh, Aina referring to Kellern, and there's okay. I mentioned because I found different ways. The translation says Kelani, but I also saw another source says it was Kalarne. So the last name is Yuri. His first name is Yuri, Admiral Yuri. Also referring to Yuri as Mister, not Admiral, was savage for those who noticed it, because he plays the fact that they know each other personally. I guess they grew up together, or he's about the same age as his older brother. Like, oh, your brother. It seems to be like that kind of relationship. Like, oh yeah, I knew your brother, and then you were a little girl that were playing. Now, oh look, you're grown. It was like, ooh, now you look nice, and his brother going like,
I don't know. I kind of had more of a uncle feel to it.
no, he was hitting on her hard.
No, I know. I think you're
Yeah.
misreading what I'm saying. I'm saying that he has more of an uncle feel to him. Like, he feels older to me. Like, I
Oh no, he's about this.
saw you when you were growing up, and now you're
Yeah,
actually legal. And I'm like, hey, how you doing? And she's like,
yeah,
get away from me, Mr. Yuri. It's like,
yeah.
she's referring to him as she might have when she was younger. So she's
Yeah, but
she's
I think
taking the
he's about the same.
familial as insult.
I think he's about the same age as their older brother because the way
I
they treat each other seems like best friends. Like they were friends all the while.
mean,
Like
you can be
on
friends
the
with an
event.
older person.
Yeah, but I mean, I think Yuri is younger than he first looks. I mean, Degwin is like 20, 21, and he looks much older. So could be a situation
You
like
said
that.
Degwin is 20.
No, 20. What's his name?
You're not talking about Degwin, I can tell you that. Genus? You talking about
No,
Genus again?
no. I'm talking about
Shiro.
the admiral of the fleets, the commander of the fleets.
Which one?
Your hero. Uh, one of the Sabi, the second youngest Sabi, the one with the
Dozel?
daughter. Dozel is what, 21, 22 at most.
I honestly could not think of who you were talking about. My hero. I'm like, I
Yeah,
don't even think I have a hero in the Xeon. Like, I like Xeon. I don't think there's anybody I like in Xeon, though. Everybody is a villain in Xeon. Except for Dozel, actually. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't call him my hero, though. I like how the man goes down. Give him my gun. I'm getting out there. What's the fucking Gundam? I'll take it on.
uh,
100% win record. Gonna be a 99% when I'm done. Anyway,
yeah.
I don't know. That's just one thing. Well, no, because it's the origin. Sorry, I was about to say it's early anime. Talking like 1979, but then in origin, he also is that fucking big at 20 something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I wasn't putting him in like the Dozel camp, Yuri. I mean, the relationship has that feel to me that he would have been an older figure when she was younger and is now approaching her in that weird, creepy uncle fashion.
Yeah.
So when
Either
she
way.
says Mr. instead of Admiral, according to your read, that would just be that familial insult that, hey, when I wanted you to get away from me when you were older and creepy, I'm going to do that same thing now in front of a bunch of people.
I'm gonna use Kellner because it's the one I found that kind of makes sense. Kellner is right. The absolute, or just call him Jury from here on out, is right. The absolute is expensive, but perhaps useless in the long term, considering that the war is very much a resource war, or will become a resource war at this stage. I mean, it always was because, at least in manpower, Monzo and Side 3 had far less people than the entirety of Earth, even after dropping a Banshee on them. So, yeah.
I mean, you're saying it's useless, but we haven't actually seen it do anything yet. And not for nothing, but a prototype at Solomon almost won the day. And this thing could be on par with, I keep want to say Rick Dom, that's not what it's Big Dom. Big Dom? Was that right?
Yeah, I think so.
This thing could be on par with that. And in which case, one of these could change the war. So, might not be. Also, I don't remember Yuri saying it was completely useless. I remember him, like, throwing out degrading shit, but not like everything you're doing is pointless. I think if he was called...
He called it a toy.
Yeah, I mean, calling it a toy just means that, hey, this is the thing you're focused on, you fucking child. It feels like more of an insult to Genus. But at the same time, they have that little back and forth friendly thing going on, so I don't read it as that. But again, though, I have to take it. We saw what Big Dom could do. If this thing is anything like 1% of that, not 1%, if this thing is like 75% of that, then it's worthwhile. It's worthwhile to even have one.
Apparently, this is kick Terry's ass day. Karen kicking him in the nuts was an extra low blow to be sure. That's about the fight they have. Like, I'm gonna quit the team, blah blah blah. And she goes like, "No, you're not," and just literally kicks him in the nuts.
Yeah,
like
at the campfire.
Mm-hmm. Which again comes directly after the whole ball scene, and Aina goes out to the necessary. I guess I'm still stuck in the goddamn balcony in the side of the mountain. It's just so ridiculous. I'm like, what the fuck?
I mean, I focus more on the fact that again they have like 16 lights on their hidden thing, and they keep the lights on at the middle of the night. Sorry, you said ball thing, and I went back to thinking about the conversation from the comment, which was about the mobile balls, and it's like, what ball thing? You're talking about an actual ball, like a party.
Yeah. Which didn't have any music, if I remember in the episode, or was pretty suppressed either way, which is weird.
Well, one, I wouldn't have heard it while we were watching it, and two, I didn't pay that much attention after the fact to if there was music playing. That'd be a real deep dive. What kind of music was playing at the Xeon Ball, and how does that inform us about music in general when it comes to Munzo in the Side 3 music scene? Well, the music that they would play at a ball would not be informative whatsoever. Actually, they do have normal music. I remember that from the manga. The group that makes the Zaku prototypes listens to music and whatnot. And has parties, too.
Amada showed good instincts this time by not rushing after the enemy Zakus. Too bad Michelle panicked and ruined everything. Recording of the as follows in action would have been invaluable to fed intel with little or no risk to the 8th. Because if they stay hidden, it would fly over them. They would record it. Oh, hey, let's really get the sound. All the things that they were going to pick up, with the cameras and the sensors. Like, okay, we got confirmation of this. They're gone. Let's go back to base. Here, boss.
I mean, I would argue, intel, right? I would argue, as I typically do, that is, that technically what Michelle did was better, probably. Well, you get a little bit of intel by letting them pass, but the conflict that he causes by just randomly shooting actually damages the thing, which then causes them to waste more time repairing it to get it back to base, which means it's probably not going to be effective in the time period that it would have been before had you just let it go by.
It could have been destroyed in a fight. So
I mean, well, we can only work with what actually does happen. Like, they could be destroyed at any point. Like, literally, when Shiro first arrives and gets lost in the jungle, he could have died by a sniper, like we also said before. But what did happen was probably the best play. Because, again, if this thing had gotten back to base on the path it was already going, then it might have been upgraded, fixed, whatever, earlier, and you would have been holding on prepared to fight it then. Whereas now, it's like basically limping its ass back to base because of a...
Yeah, but again, it's better just to catch the intel and go home and be safe than try to engage something, especially if you didn't... And also, you're engaging with a weapon that would not have shot down those fighters anyway, because that 50 caliber or whatever he was using was never going to reach that high.
So he was never really aiming at it, apparently. Yeah, but no, I mean, again, this is just a case of success through failure. Yeah. Something I often think about with the games design, right, is the idea that you're always trying to succeed everything. Like, how are these people that reload when they fail a mission? But sometimes games design, like Baldur's Gate 3 stuff, where the failure result can put you on a path for greater reward, but you might not know that if you don't fail because you're so anti-failure that you keep fucking reloading the game. You wouldn't know. In this case, this dude fucking up and shooting and giving out their location hampered this thing getting back, which would then buy them even more time to be prepared. If they did the safe option and just let it go and got information back, this thing might have come back the next day with a mega weapon and shoot down all the Earth Federation base in the area. We don't know. What we do know is now it's fucking like limping its ass back home. So, might have been the better option. Not a consciously picked option, but still the better one.
And talking about that fight, the one time the beam saber didn't kill an enemy outright so far.
Well, the beam saber has not killed people outright before. It's the game winner. It's not always the game ender.
I mean, destroyed battleships. It's
The
destroyed
little thing we
mobile
brought up
mobile
before,
armor.
the McQueeve Castilla mobile armor, that thing got stabbed by a beam saber. It didn't get destroyed.
I don't remember that part.
He's hanging off of it with the beam saber.
Mm.
And then they're like, well, just fucking get out of here. And that's when they fuck off. And he drops to the ground and goes away. But yeah, no, I'm saying it wins fights. It doesn't always end the fight, though.
Well, into episode 5, the broken order to stand by. First note, this whole episode can be summarized in one sentence. Elidor is an idiot.
I mean, it was a humanizing episode.
True. Doesn't. I mean, still, everything that happened because he. Oh, I'm gonna abandon my post and I'm gonna celebrate because reasons. I'm like,
Counter argument. Is Elidor an idiot, or is Elidor the smartest man alive?
He's an idiot.
Is he? He's actively the one trying to get out of the war.
Yeah, but he's not deserting.
I don't want to die here, I believe is what he asserts.
I think everyone else wants the same thing. No,
yeah, except that he's actively trying to get out of it. You're like, he's deserting. Sure, fair enough. But at the same time, maybe he gets out of it alive.
I mean, he ended up going to now talking about how it worked out. He just walks into a town. Hey, I'm gonna get partying and drunk. And what happens? He gets captured. Alongside Michelle.
Yeah.
And
as per also a previous conversation about how they waylaid the whatever the fucking thing is called. Again, don't have my notes about the name of it.
Aspetus.
So ironically, if they had just let it go by, like you said, would be the smart move, the Zeons wouldn't be in this town, and he would have just had a night of debauchery.
But
well, they're only here because they're trying to lock down the area so they can get that thing repaired and, again, limp its ass back home. This is a series of interconnected events.
And he probably got to get court-martialed if someone else finds him in the town, drunk. Yeah.
Again, he's just trying to survive. Again, it's like, I don't have much of a problem here. Although much more of a problem than the fact I said my least interesting episode of 8th MS Team. It does a lot of good character work on characters I wasn't much interested in.
Jidan, that's Norris, who is a lieutenant, by the way, could have ordered Eleanor to stand down, but he's of the not my circus, not my problem school of thought.
You've confused me. Say at the beginning again.
Jidan, it's Jidan Norris. He's the old man.
No, sorry, you're saying the wrong name. Norris is the Zeon officer. You're talking Nick Hard. Nick Hard. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. You're saying Norris can tell this guy to stand down. Like, no, he can't. That's a Zeon guy.
Jidan Nick Hard, he's the lieutenant. Although I found some other sources has another rank, but he outranks them. That's the point.
I mean, he's old hat, literally. Again, I don't have a rank above him on the board either because they have not mentioned a rank anywhere.
But like I said, he's like, not my circus, not my problem. Kind of like, yeah, that's all I do is supply.
Well, I mean, technically, he's on break.
In the military, you're never on break.
Technically, he is because he literally tells them I'm on break.
Yeah, but he's
and more than that, more to against your argument of whatever you're about to say, they agree with him. Oh, he's on break.
Of course. Yeah, because they want to leave. He only has to do is like, don't go anywhere. That's an order.
Well, no, it's not that they want to leave. They want some of his stew. But the point is that you're saying no one's on break, and I'm saying they're actively agreeing that he's on break. So
yeah, they don't get to do that. Nobody gets to do that because in the military, you're on activity.
Nobody gets to desert, but Elidor, Amuro, who the fuck doesn't do whatever they want to do?
Yeah.
So long as you have a commander that doesn't fucking care, you can do whatever the hell you want. And again, this guy is old hat.
This note, I'm gonna actually. Do I have a strike through here? I should have a strike through thing.
I use Notepad. I just delete the notes that I no longer apply.
No, I want to keep it because never mind. Apparently Google doesn't have that for some reason.
Google Google Docs do.
Yeah, I can't find it though.
I know I've seen it. I never use it though because I never have. Again, I would rather erase something that no longer applies than to mark it as a invalid thing.
I prefer in this case. I prefer strike through because if I go like, oh yeah, that's bad, that's wrong. That's all there's. No, never mind. I'm gonna skip this note anyway. Now, next we already talked about this. It's Kika. No, Kiki. Is it Kiki? I get the characters confused. Let's ignore the child wearing a heavy full body coat in the tropics. Because he must have been sweltering under that thing.
Well, I doubt it. One, it's not like a full-on woolen outfit. It's a cloak, and it's nighttime, so it's literally as cool as it's gonna get.
Yeah, it's still gonna be probably pretty.
Also, she's in a building when we see her wearing it, so conceivably, if this place is
even hotter.
Well, I would say this place was designed for the area that it's in. Then it's probably got windows facing the wind direction, that sort of thing.
Probably has AC or something, but
I doubt that. This whole place seemed like it was dark. Like even if it did have electricity, it doesn't seem to have it right now. No, it must have because the guard downstairs was in light, and that it wasn't like torches or
or lamps or
lanterns. I couldn't think of the word. There's no lanterns or anything, so must have power or something.
As dumb as it was, and it was, I still like how the fighting prisoners ploy worked. I mean, it wasn't a ploy, and it still worked somehow.
I mean, that's what I mentioned during the episode.
Yeah.
This is what you do. It's either that or play sick or hide under the door so it looks like you've gone missing.
So Senator suffered from claustrophobia, and that is why he didn't want the hatch closed on the construction mech. Because he was like, no, don't. They have a whole back and forth, like, no, don't close the door. It's a screen. Like close the door. You're getting shot, and he got shot to pieces because of it. Actually, he got a piece of screen jabbed on his knee and his thigh, and then he got shot in the arm from the ricochet. So
I would have argued no, but I think the argument that I would make might have element of claustrophobia in it. I think he wanted an escape. Like he didn't even want to go in the thing to begin with, and now that he's here and the guy's shooting at him, he didn't have any choice of escape, but he didn't want to be sealed inside, and that's where I would say, okay, maybe that's the claustrophobia element. Mostly, though, I think he just wanted a way out if he could get out.
Except that they're shooting him right through the way out, so that's not going to work.
Well, I mean, if you get sealed inside and they blow you the fuck up, you're going to get blown up. I guess if Kira has taught us anything.
But again, if your primary threat is somebody with an assault rifle or a machine gun shooting into an open space, yeah, you better close it down.
I don't think that fear is rational.
True.
Well, one step back. Fear is a rational response. I don't think that thought processes in the midst of fear have to be rational.
Also, another note that is wrong because you corrected me. This is not what happened in that other note, so this one doesn't apply. So my last note. Eleanor was lucky that Karen didn't object to that boob grab. If she had, he would have lost that hand for sure. We'll be doing the Elmo thing.
Well, I just don't know what I could say to it. That's okay.
That's my last note.
You know how I would typically jump in with some sort of argument or something. It was like, why they've got a purple line on the board. All right, well, I guess that being everything, then there's nothing left to do but to hop on into it.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
Wow, that's the audio was a little high.
Oh, well, usually I have my TV set to like 20, and I had already turned my TV down to like 10. Right now I'm at like 2, because again, it is louder. That's something I hit with when I'm my solo recordings. On all of my shows, I have like at 70%, but then I get to Visions of Escaflowne, and it's like, oh, down to 50. It is so much louder for no reason. By the way, that was Bayberry, I assume, there in the opening.
Just a random guy.
Yeah, well, it's also it's also a random group of people that we've never seen before. That also, the fuck is going wrong with me? It also just looks like everybody from the first episode of Igloo 2. Like, even in the same coloration. That sepia-toned backstory flashback sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, sepia tone thing was big in the 80s and 70s.
Yeah, but this was during a 3D CGI episode.
Yeah.
It was very weird.
I mean, emulating that, I guess. Still anime. It's anime convention still, you know.
Right. I'm just saying that's what it really reminded me of.
Yeah. Especially the last shot being to sepia, like freeze frame. That has to have a specific name, but I don't know what it is.
その光ってのはどっちで？
西の砂漠だ。3日前にもピカッと来たぜ。
ありがとう。シロー、バッチシだよ。
And how the hell is this guy like, oh god, it's a mobile suit? Like, didn't see it in this wide open plane.
はい、なんでしょう。本体への連絡だ。はい。
French.
Yeah.
That was
I have
French.
to read it and see.
I got like 3 words, but of the 3 words I recognized, that was French. Oh, this is the desert episode?
Oh.
また始まった。こちらしろ。左足がいかれた。先に行ってくれ。
一人で大丈夫ですか？
ミケルと何とかやってみる。
了解。
That's an interesting, glowy.
Look, even if I didn't know what that was already, I think I've seen enough Gundam. Like, back then, I wouldn't have known. Because remember, I've had experience, the first time I saw this, I had experience with, what, 3 Gundams, this being the 3rd one?
Mm-hmm.
All the Gundams I've seen today, I would recognize a super beam laser test firing thing anywhere. Not super impressed that you tore that off and it looked like it was made of cloth.
Oh, probably rubber. Rubber covering.
Wouldn't like that either.
Yeah, it's designed to protect the equipment within from dust and whatnot. Oh yeah, that's glass, all right.
ビームの高熱でガラス化したんだ。
Ooh, that's a prolonged beam firing.
Or just one really strong beam.
Yeah. I mean, cut across, so it didn't punch through. Unless it actually made the crater like this.
That's
No,
what
but
I'm
it
saying. It
doesn't
looked
have
like
it.
it punched through. Not like it
Yeah, but
swathed.
it doesn't have in the other side. We don't see another thing unless I missed it.
Well, it's down below the cliff edge, so it didn't spray across. Like, it didn't go like that. Otherwise, it would be more. Because it's in a not a valley.
Canyon?
Yeah, it's in a canyon. So it must have just shot forwards.
気をつけて帰ってくれ。ということですから。お嬢さん。
誰が帰るって言ったのよ。
ミケル、コックピットへ行ってくれ。はい。
My one chance to pilot.
Is he changing the filter, basically? That's what it is, the car filter.
That's what he said. The filter's filled with sand.
Mhm. I'm gonna have to read that letter carefully, see if I pick up the fact, because that seems to be a bad
There was
news
never
for
a
him.
chance in hell that I wasn't going to take a screenshot of the letter.
Gonna lose his pants.
Well, you remember that's how the husband died in 2014 with the movie, the Michael Bay thing. Not Michael Bay.
I love those.
ついありがとう隊長大丈夫ですか
This was my shirt, but
生きてる
いいねボケっとしてんじゃないよ
that sounds like a deer.
A lot of no harm, no fouls going on here.
Yeah, I think he got dumped. Oh, I think the beam created that canyon.
I don't think
Which
so.
I think was
it's
really
too
good.
windy. Seems too natural. Well,
But
maybe
if
something
the-
crashed.
Yeah, if it came up landing up and then
Now
fired the
it's too
beam
deep
there.
for that.
気球のポイントチェックもしておけ
Like maybe something crashed at the crater site down there, but it didn't create the canyon because the canyon's windy. The beam would be straight.
いけるって俺は一人しかいないんですから一度にいくつもできませんって
Leave the letter alone.
集中しろミケル今作戦中だ
エレノアがいないせいにするな
してないでしょまだこっちは設営の準備だって終わっちゃいないのにミケルはいはいはいはい
あんたたちは帰っていいよ
少しなあお嬢さん一人置いて
Guy, you need to eat a sandwich.
こっちの情報で連邦は動いてんだよ最後まで見届けなきゃ
なんだってあの隊長に相互まで肩入れしますかね
Easier than to punch him in the face.
もう
Oh, a drone. Nice. I mean, those things existed back into the 1970s and early 80s, so yeah. They were called RPVs back then, remote piloted vehicles. So it's a glorified, remote control plane, basically.
ポイントアルファ通過はい気球上げ
気球上がりました退路塞ぎます
シミュレーション
Oh wow, those are clear CGI.
狙撃いいか
捉えています。
シミュレーション確認ポイントブラボーネットを放ち袋工事を作る
レッドかかります
確認ポイントチャーリー通過よーし正面ポイントデルタより集中攻撃かける
Trying to recreate.
今度こそ仕留めてやる
No, they're training for the ambush.
Because he went to go get the letter.
何ボケっとしてるエレノアがいなくなったくらいで気を抜くな
そういうわけじゃ申し訳ありません
Just relieve him of duty already. He's already not... He's costing you more than he's helping.
Yeah, but they're not sure. I mean, do they have anyone else to do it?
Yeah.
Who?
Anybody.
まだ
We never
Yeah,
saw
but they
that
need all
Michelle,
their
we
mobile
never
suits.
saw Michelle was ever trained or anything.
せっかくさ
He just like
せてやったのに
occupied the seat next to Elidor. Like any of these other guys in the trucks or anything. Put them in there.
前の身の安全は保証できないんだぞ
Also, I already have a love interest.
破けたとこ直してやるよ
いいよ
I'm domestic.
いいなよ
Yeah.
恥ずかしがるからかよ。
おいやめろよ。
なんで素直になれねえんだよ。早くしなってば。
今度だけだぞ。
She's like, okay. I don't want to hear it.
聞こえますか？どうした？いえ、やっぱいいです。
Yeah, I said dear Joni or dear whatever.
何やってんの？
水は貴重だ。いざという時のためだ。
I remember bringing that up before. One of our conversations about how to purify water.
Yeah.
In this case, it's just water collection, but I said you could probably do the same thing with
It helps to purify too.
Well, I mean, bad water. You could take a source of bad water, put it around the cup, and the humidity of it evaporating into the tarp would still leave shit behind.
上着直ったよ。
この暑さで上着なんかいるか。
夜になると寒くなるよ。
いける。
It's desert.
他の部隊から連絡は。
何も入ってません。
通信機を勝手に使わせるな。
Oh, the exasperated look in her eyes.
はあ、なんだよ体調だからって意地張っちゃって。
Oh, she's gonna read it.
なあキキ、お前体調に惚れてるん？
これ恋人からの手紙か？
やめろ。
Thank God I'm multilingual, because now I can make fun of you.
ミケル、いつも手紙ありがとう。
やめろってば。
あなたの
Why do you leave the-
松見の私にとってただ
This is exactly what happens when I talk about Gundam Seed Destiny, where I take all the time to read a thing, and then a character just
Yeah.
reads it out loud.
これが最後の手紙じゃないかって思うから、戦争があなたを遠くへやってしまいそうな気がして。そして手紙が途絶えることの恐ろしさに私はもう耐えられそうにありません。こんなことならあなたのことを忘れた方がどんなに楽か。もう読めない。ごめん。
Oh, now like you got to the hard part. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, it wasn't too much easier for me the first time either. But thanks for reading it out loud back to me.
どう言ったら、どう手紙に書いたら分かってくれるのかな。
その子の気持ちもわかるけど、
本当か？
あんたの気持ちそのままぶつけるしかないよ。私はそれしか知らない。
そうなんだよな。
Ah, we're using the blue moon filter here, of course.
ぶつけるにもどう
Although
せ
the stars are out, so
I mean, it makes sense, though. There is nothing you can do, because anything you do, it's not there, is just
Yeah.
another letter. Only reinforcing the issue that she's putting out there.
yeah.
来るさ。
I really wish they had, used more than one character for this.
That way, those are water cans and not fuel cans.
I doubt it.
I mean, you can store water in them as well.
Right, but as per Terry's whole thing about water's valuable, and then he's doing this whole thing to gather water, I don't think they would have just gone burnt through 4 things of water this quickly.
でもな、お前いつまで。
隊長、いつまでなんですか？
さあな。
もう今日で5日目です。この作戦は
But you got somewhere to be?
じゃないですか。
No, yeah,
Yeah, they
looks like
use
you're
it for
right.
water
Yeah.
or coffee.
Well, I doubt this is full of coffee. Probably water to make coffee.
全くおかしくなる。
俺、もう我慢できません。こんなところにじっとしているなんて、手紙を書いたって出せやしないんだ。BB が待ってるっていうのに、クソクソ。
ミケル。
公私ともどもいろいろ。
Well, he's making his private problem a public one.
どういうことだ？
Yeah.
ねえ、手紙なら
Again, it's not like I don't understand. I completely understand where he's coming from. He's just being an annoying ass about it right now.
本体に届ければいいんだろ。私の仲間には暇な連中もいるしさ。
キキ、おい、ちょっと待て。
何よ。
No, you can't.
ピクニック気分はやめてくれ。俺たちは気分で動く。
Yeah, if you go leaving from here, any camouflage we might have, you might ruin. Also, you do this
Exactly,
this
that's what I'm
one.
thinking.
You do this one time, and you're probably going to be doing it for the rest of your life.
Mhm.
僕は感謝するが、出過ぎた真似はやめてくれ。
出過ぎた真似だって。手紙を出しちゃいけないなんて命令が降りてんの。
I'm the commander?
Yeah.
こいつ、何ひすってるんだ？
Oh, hysterical.
シロの方じゃない。
Because I don't understand the feelings of a young girl.
Oh, yeah.
Or, in fact, the other girl whose watch I'm carrying. I don't understand anyone's feelings, actually.
Yeah.
もっと優しくしてやれないんですか？女の気持ち、全然
Punch him in the face again.
ないじゃないですか。
Michael to Michael, I understand what this guy needs.
恋したことないんですか？女の時計なんか大事そうに持ってて。
Oh, wow.
To be fair,
Yeah,
the watch is
I
too
mean-
fucking big to ignore.
片思いしかしたことない人なんですか？
Is anyone going to shut this kid up?
前に言われたくはない。分かったような気になってるのはお前の方だろ。分かろうとしないやつよりマシです。分かったところで。
Oh, please. Hit a superior officer. I dare
Yeah,
you.
yeah, dude, yeah.
あなたは最低です。
Hey, you remember when you deserted the other day and I said nothing?
Yeah.
それもいいだろう。俺は戻る。
ミケル、お前はモビルスーツに乗れ。
は？
俺と交代だ。
そんなこと。
今のお前にこいつを任せておいたら、発祥隊は全滅だ。
So what did I say? I said
Yeah.
replace him.
Oh, he got his suit to be in.
He's the Kaifun of Gundam.
Michelle?
どうしたんだろう。
Yes.
私、
He's annoying and I don't like him.
自分の気持ちがわかんないんだ。
Just because I understand him doesn't mean I like him.
目が覚める。
貴重な水なんだろう。
水分を補給しろ。
ありがとう。あのさ、
おしゃべりは苦手だ。
Talking is in my strong suit. Okay, we get it.
What the commenters
Like
say about
growing.
us.
アイナザーリン、恋人がいたのか。いたっておかしくないよな。まったくミケルの言う通りかもな。
So he knows who she is by the last name. I don't remember if she telling him her full name. But did she?
No clue. I almost thought this was a Trigun reference.
いい曲だね。
The name of the song is Love and Peace, if you recall. Eldor says the name of it.
ただいまの曲は野戦病院からのリクエスト。名誉の負傷を負ったエレドア・マシス伍長からでした。オッケー、次の曲へと行こう。
なんだ？
Yeah, but say not a great move if you had to request your own
Yeah.
song.
エレドアさんらしいや。自分に素直なんだ。あの人は。
See though?
See, look how winding it is. No way a straight beam could cause that.
「みんな、準備はいいね。
ポイントチャーリー目視確認。
ミケル、よく狙え。
And their plan is to catch it with a net.
逃げておけ。
This thing is fucking huge.
Slow it down, I think, within that. I don't think they want to destroy it or they want to capture it.
大したことじゃない。はい、来ます。俺は死なない。いい
Use the
俺を
Force,
信じ
Luke.
て待ってろって言うんだ。気持ちはぶつけるしかない。
Yeah, that usually doesn't work. Guess they do want to catch it.
Yeah, I suppose there was a chance that the net was laden with explosives, so you wouldn't want to run into it. Sorry guys, today I filled my gun with bubble gum.
Oh, pink explosions are common in Gundam.
See? Single blast. And she's better at that than he is. Why are we on the same frequency?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why you'd think he was dead.
I mean,
At worst,
why
he's
wouldn't she?
going. Well, at worst, he's
Getting captured by them.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. Maybe that is the worst, but I was gonna say at worst, he's going to wherever that thing is going to, but he's actively holding on to it. So at any point he decides to let go, he is wherever he is. He isn't a Gundam after all. Who's to say
Yeah,
he
but
couldn't
he
fall into a lake or a river or something on the way?
I mean, he has retro rockets, so if there's... Well, no, those go
He was,
tough.
yeah, well, that's a backpack he's not wearing, but I was also going to say he was, like, crushed against a mountain, so there's no telling how
Yeah.
much damage to the systems there are. Also, he lost an arm,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm saying I don't know how much shock absorption this thing has, but that's why I said falling into a lake or a river. Something that could absorb the shock.
Yeah. Otherwise...
But again, that thing is damaged too. It could, that thing failed to fly on its own twice now.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. I mean, it could damage to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's entirely possible it could just come down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, there's no reason to think he's dead.
Yeah.
アイナがジオン新兵器のパイロットだなんて、危うく俺はアイナを殺してしまうところだった。しかし無事を確かめ合った俺たちの前に巨大な山脈が迫る。なんとか助かる方策を探らねば。アイナ、死ぬも生きるも二人一緒だ。次回機動戦士ガンダム第 08MS 招待再開。
So a new version of the first episode.
Yeah.
Also, I would point out what I said about Yuri before in his apparent age, and you were pointing out that he doesn't look that much older than Genus. The fact is that Genus looked the same age in the flashback as he does now, and she looked younger. So the fact is that if Yuri looked the same age as Genus back then, which is to say exactly as he does right now, then he would be that older guy, uncle figure to a girl that looks that age.
I mean, this is star-crossed lovers situation, something that we haven't really touched in a couple of up to 6 episodes, because it was first episode, and then this is the which you come back. Everything else has been the team and everything else. So yeah,
Star-crossed lovers. The last time we touched on was
the first episode.
7 episodes ago.
No, this is episode 7.
Yeah. Is it? I thought it was episode 6. Episode 6, isn't it?
Yeah, 6. Yeah.
Yeah, so 7 episodes ago. Because these guys aren't
First
star-crossed
episode,
lovers
5
in the
episodes.
first episode. So last time well, no, because now the next episode they'll be star-crossed lovers. Well, not even lovers
Yeah.
yet. I don't really know, but the last time we've encountered this in Mobile Suit Gundam was 7
Mhm.
episodes ago. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm forgetting another thing, but I think that's the last time.
Igloo?
Yeah,
Igloo?
the last
yeah.
episode of Igloo 2, which was literally, I'm actually a double agent and I'm not actually betraying you. In fact, I was in fact in love with you this whole time. I don't believe you. I'm going to suicide bomb and kill us both. I think that was the last star-crossed lovers thing.
Yeah, that actually maths well.
I mean, it was your favorite episode of that too, so I just kind of assumed it was easy to call back to. I can't really think of any other than maybe, well, no. I was about to go with Kai, and what's another M name? I can't remember.
Yeah, Missouri?
I think it was Millie or something like. I can't remember. Anyway, they're not really star-crossed lovers. Well, maybe they did 2 episodes. So meets her, moves in, runs off. She then comes back to him. Yeah, maybe for Mobile Suit Gundam,
And technically, she was a spy for the other side. So yeah,
or maybe Lala and Amuro.
Yeah, I guess.
But definitely the last time was Igloo 2. So
I think of the first episode, but that's the setup to what's going to happen later. So technically, not star-crossed lovers yet.
Again, I think next time is the one that's going to establish the lovers thing, because we've only gotten Shiro's perspective on the matter. He's like, damn it, he's right. Like, I'm in love with her. God damn it. Whereas Aina hasn't even thought about Shiro in any episode we've seen her in.
No, she's talking about her big brother. So
yeah,
big brother complex.
And again, you have to cross at least once to be star-crossed lovers, which is to say, we met once. We had to meet again.
For it to make sense, yes. Otherwise, no. At least not yet. So, good episode. Yeah, this episode was about romance, but I didn't actually thought it was pretty good. I know you find Michelle annoying, but even the story, I was like, oh, she's breaking up with him. Boom. It's over. She found someone else or something like that. It's like, no, listen, I'm in a difficult position. You're over there. I'm over here. She's probably in a space colony somewhere, not on Earth. And she's like, listen.
I think she's on Earth.
You could die at any moment. No, remember, they're both coming from the space colonies to Earth. That's the first episode. Unless he went to space and then came back down again to Earth.
I don't know. It was always my impression that she was on Earth. I mean, the problem is I can't argue with your point that they're coming from space. But again, I don't know what their backstory is. The impression that I always got is that she was somebody that, like, what did I say before? Like,
girl he knew? Some girl he knew?
No, I think that was something you said. No, like, I met this girl at Hanoi, right? That sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like, she's somebody that he met at, like, a spaceport or something like that, and then spent time, and then got shipped out or something. Like, it felt very transitional.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I honestly don't know, because even if I could remember, from, again, 20-ish years ago. I do not remember what the story is there.
30 years ago, yeah.
No, this was 2000,
Not
right?
even. No, it's not. It actually originally, well,
We're not talking about
it came out
Japan.
in
We're
the
talking about
States.
toonami. Yeah,
Toonami,
so
25 years ago.
Well, I mean, I'm saying 2000-ish. I don't remember when. I think it was like 2001, 2002. No, that would have been Gundam Wing. 2005? I'm gonna put my guess down on 2005 because Gundam Wing was the first one. This is like the second or third one in. And I know that it was like Maltar was doing toonami in 99. So we go to Tom in like 2000, 2001. So yeah, I'd say I'm going to go with 20-ish years, like I said before. Give or take a 5-year window. But yeah, no, I mean, to what you're saying is that I don't like him as a characterization. I don't not like him as a character. The thing is that I understand him, but much the way that I understand Elidor doesn't make me like them. And the episodes serve well as good character episodes, right? You get to see that why Kika's still hanging around. You get to see that interaction between her and Michelle. You get to see what Michelle's why he's distracted all this time, right? And you get to see all the interactions between all the different characters. It serves well as a not a bottle episode, like a room episode, right? Where we've got just a number of characters and how do they interact with one another. It's really good about that. Unfortunately, it's not what I'm focusing on when I'm watching these. I can't say I'm not focusing on it. It literally is what I'm focusing on because it's the only thing I talk about at the end.
It's character development, so yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean it's really good about that. Again, I'm not taking back anything I've ever said about 8th MS Team. It is quite literally one of the best. No, I'm just thinking. It's like I'm saying negative shit when I've made my position that this is an amazing show. But I know no one's going to remember that I said this is an amazing show. They're just going to be, this guy is nitpicky.
We pick our nits here.
I don't know, you're just eminently distracting. We pick our nits. And it's like, is nits a name of a bug? Why do they call it kidnapping? You kidnap adults. Nothing involved about napping either. Yeah. A peanut is neither a pea nor a nut. All right. Well, there's no coming back from this. So, no final thought?
Nope. Just like the episode.
All right. Well, once again, I've been Theta. This has been Lessons. We've been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?